So, as you understood that how the firewall functions, firewall acts as a packet filter also, based on the characteristics which identifying to the packets, addresses to source and destination addresses, port numbers, etc., and so on. So now we are going to learn the one important tool. Suppose, do you think? Suppose there is always a possibility of hacking, even though sophisticated tools are implemented in the organizational level. So the people means the hacker, the malicious intent mindset persons, or we can call it them as attackers. Always those people trying to bypass the controls which is being implemented. They're trying to find the vulnerabilities, the entry points, etc., and so on. Even though what the developers are the implementers of the security controls, even though they thought and trying to protect their internal organizations by implementing the security rules, etc., and so on, even complex rules if they define also, the over the time period, the attackers is trying to find the vulnerabilities. In one such case, in the case of firewall, some tools are available to bypass the firewall controls. So some of the tools are available to bypass the firewall controls. By bypassing the firewall, they are entering into the system. So one of the tool is Nmap tool. You can bypass the uh, uh, firewall like nmap.org. There is a stealth scan is there. It is going to bypass the firewall. I will show you some nmap.org. If you go into this here, penetration testing, packet crafters, more. Yeah, Snot tool is it is defined with the nmap itself, nmap.org, securitystools.org. So here, what you need to means some of the commands are available to bypass the firewall and going to ping the network to access the network information. One is that is nmap development site pen test. Here, nmap command to bypass the firewall. See various ways of scanning to bypass the firewall. There are still so many tools are available to bypass the firewall rules, security, because the firewall it is more about the administrator, how he or she is going to write the rules to filter out the traffic. There are several ways of bypassing the firewalls. By using nmap tool also, you can use the trace route also. You can bypass by especially writing nmap stealth scan. So many different methods are to bypass the firewall. So that's then if the tools are available to bypass the firewall, then what about the security part, the monitoring the network part? So that is taken care by the Snort uh, IDS, intrusion detection system. So these are the some of the methods to bypass the firewalls. The one of the method is we are going to see how we can bypass firewall or access control using Nmap and other tools techniques specifically made with the beginners in mind. So, because penetration testers, that is the ethical hacker, he needs to be inspect whether that firewall is properly in place and working fine. So, for them, at least they need to have a access of the fire. If it denies the access of ethical hacker, then how that ethical hacker is going to check whether it is up to the mark of implementation. So there is even the positive side is also there, the negative side, that is back entry door side, that is developers and implementers, those who are going to set up the firewall, they need to have access of firewall. So for them, they cannot write the rules, allow me, don't allow others, not like that. So according to the organizational requirement, they have to define the rule setup. Still, they need to access the firewall. So this is the case. This is the pros and cons of that firewall implementation. But still, the people needs to access some of the traffic. In such situation, they are going to bypass us the firewall. But if malicious activity is going to be bypasses the firewall, who is going to taken care? So that is in place of intrusion detection system. The intrusion detection system is a concept of inspecting the packets, bypassing or passing through the even filters or the firewalls. Those are going to inspect and they are recognize the signature of the packets and the some of the pattern it is going to recognize. If it matches with the signature of the packets, then it allows. If it does not, then it alarms the user, don't allow such kind of traffic, or it is going to block that website to access. So this is the job of intrusion detection system. So the tool which is most widely used in the intrusion detection system is Snot tool. That is we are going to discuss today. So firewall, as you are aware of this, firewalls block traffic that we know beforehand should not be traversing a protected network. However, we have to let some traffic into the network and traffic needs to go out. So the job of network communication is communication between two party means there should be a flow of packets from to and fro. So it is always needed to do communication. We should not stop the communication. Parallelly, we need to monitor the communication whether it is a malicious traffic in or going in or going from suspicious traffic from inside to out. We need to monitor that. So, but ultimately, you need to provide the service to move the traffic from source address to the destination. So, a competent administrator creates a robust rule set to prevent malicious traffic from bypassing a firewall. Sorry. So administrators, the job, as I said, the firewall strength or weakness, it depends on the administrator who is going to write the rule for the firewall. If we write a rule such a way that if any traffic is trying to bypass, it is going to be denied. So in such situation, this scenario is not applicable for all kind of traffic, malicious traffic. Sometimes it is needed to access. In such situation, rules is going to be complex. How that administrator is writing the rule and handling that situation, it is up to the organizational administrators. A savvy administrator prepares for scenarios in which malicious traffic manages to bypass the firewall. This is where network monitor comes. Once any traffic, even though after writing rule, and denying the traffic movement. Sometimes some traffic is bypassing the rules. In such situation, how such kind of the things could be handled by the administrator? That is the place where that network monitoring comes in. So continuously monitoring the traffic, uh, rather than just depending on the firewall. So instead of firewall, so don't think firewall will do everything for me, good for the organization, not like that. So it is additional effort is needed to monitor the traffic which is passing through the firewall as well as bypassing the firewall. In such cases, the network monitors comes in. So that is the tool called as Intrusion Detection System (IDS tool). That is Snot. Snot is a network monitoring tool that watches traffic for signs of malicious activity. Signs of malicious activity means the virus has their own signature-based viruses. The malicious software have a signature base. For example, if you are passing the passwords, etc password, the if you are transferring through FTP, so it is has its own the patterns and the signature. The Snort Tool is going to detect such patterns. If it suspects a malicious, then it immediately alerts to the user or the firewall to stop allowing that traffic to enter into the internal network. So, which are the thing the Snort tool is going to detect is buffer overflows. It is being executed against a service. Expected requested for the service request, if it exceeded the buffer limit of the server, then such situation, the server is going to be crashed. To avoid the crashing of the server of the service provider, the firewall and the monitoring network monitoring system, it detects any suspicious the buffer overflow dumps are existing by sending from the client request or not. So if it suspects, then immediately it alerts the server not to accept the request from such particular IP. Similarly, command control traffic from malware. So nowadays, the attacks going not actually through the GUI based attacks. Usually, many a times, command based attacks are more stronger than the GUI based attacks. So command based. So how the criminal or the malicious engineer, how he is going to write the code at the command interface, and how he is going to inject that and bypasses the rules of the firewall. So it is command based attacks are more vulnerable compared to the GUI based. GUI based is limited versions are there, whereas the command based, it is free to write the code at the command level and execute. So that's the another way the Snort is going to detect such kind of traffic. Then suspicious activity like port scans, service enumeration, etc., and exploitation of the services from remotely. Such kind of suspicious activities also is monitoring by the Snort tool. And some of the Snort modes are there. Which are the modes? In these three mode, the Snort is going to carry out his functionality. That is, Snort rules as an ad hoc SIM sniffer. Snort nodes modes also acts as a sniffer, because it has to inspect the packet from the characteristics and at the packet level also, the context level also. As I said, the firewall acts as both the packet filter as well as firewall. The difference, you are aware of the difference. The packet filter inspect at the application level, whereas the firewall inspect the packet at the context level. So both combining functionalities, it includes included in the firewall. Now the Snort is a monitoring tool. It allows it monitor the traffic which is coming from the firewall. So it has additional functionality to inspect the packet at the granular level. So it acts as the sniffer. Sniffer means it removes the open up the packet and it inspect the content of the packet as well as the source and destination enumerations. So this is the one mode. Snot is also act as a sniffer. It is very similar to the TCP dump. TCP dump is also going to have a connection, establishing a connection with the source and the destination, that is targeted machine. Once dump is established, the connection remotely, even though the target will not aware of the establishment of connection at the background, the remotely that target machine is accessible. So similar to that, Snot acts in a mode one. There are several modes are there among three. There are several. That's three. Among three, the one is Snot acts as a sniffer tool. And second mode of the Snot is a packet logger, continuously recording of network traffic. It acts as a Snot is also acts as a Wireshark. Probably you heard about the Wireshark. Wireshark is a tool. It continuously records or logs the network traffic. Wireshark. So this Wireshark also it is keep on monitoring the network and it records and it keeps all the records of the monitoring of the traffic. Wireshark. So Snort is also acts as a Wireshark, similar to that. Okay. Wireshark. It is expected me to download Wireshark Online Network Analyzer 2. Let's check with this online tools. Okay. So a packet logger is maintained by the Snot. It continuously recording of the network traffic passing through this. And the mode 3 is an IDS, intrusion detection system. It triggers alarms based on the suspicious activity. So suspicious activity it classifies into three mode. It is a urgent attention, that is high severity, moderate. Usually high severity color representation is the red. So moderate, yellow, similar to your traffic signal control. That is green, yellow, then red. So whereas the green is you can allow the packet to pass through the firewall and Snot tool. Similarly, it triggers that IDS triggers the alarm based on the suspicious activity severity level. If severity is high, it sends the signals or the records that into a log by telling that it's a high risk severity packet. So like that, it is suspicious activity is notified to the system user. Snot uses a rule configuration file named as snot.conf to control how it filters the traffic. So based on Snot works in the different operating system like Windows operating system. It also works in the Linux based operating system. So usually most widely the organizational implementation servers usually they use the Linux based machines. So snot dot configuration exists with etc extension. In that etc extension, snot dot config, depending on your environment setup, you can configure. So whichever the snot you are going to download, it is a open source and freely available to use for anybody to monitor the network traffic within the internal organization. You can use it for anybody anytime, but it is not paid also. You can use it freely. Even the upgraded versions also freely available. But the thing is, when you download today the snot and setup happens today, down the line after 15 to 20 days, if you are not updating the snot, that snot will become a absolute snot tool, because only it is able to maintain the old pattern and signatures. If you are not keep on updating the snot tool, maybe that snot is not providing the accurate results as you expected in near future. So that's why always not only the thing of a smart tool, whichever the tool you are installing today, it is only it optimized functionality is exist only today. Tomorrow there is no guarantee whether tool works for every attack it is going to be come. So that's why every 15 days to 20 days or the 3 months, within a 3 months, you need to be keep update the softwares of your system to get a full functionality of those softwares. So Snot works on three modes. Mode one, it acts as a sniffer, it acts as a packet logger, it acts as a intrusion detection system IDS. Main configuration file setup file is present with the snot is snot.conf. So now we are looking into yes, as we said, firewall needs to be set the rules. Similarly, snot also a similar kind of the firewall, firewall extension of firewall. You can think of it. It also has some set of rules needs to be defined to before implementing that into your organizational network. Now, how Snot acts as an intrusion detection system. An intrusion detection system is a sniffer like TCP dump or Wireshark. You can look into TCP dump also. TCP dump, as the name tells that it is a packet command line packet analyzer and libpcap, a portable C++ library for network traffic capture. It is also capturing the information of the network. There is a small example, it is given in the form of image. You can look into this, you will understand. This is command line interface TCP dump. This is going to capture the packets through the command line. There is a tutorial which is available about the TCP dump traffic capture and its analysis in that YouTube. You can use this. There are lot of material is available in the YouTube as well as in the different websites, the hacker rank websites. You can refer for to know more about the TCP dump. So Snot is Snot about the Snot tool also. Many videos are available. Snot implementation, for example, lot of videos are available about the network intrusion detection system. There are so many vids are available, short videos to make you understand about the Snot or the TCP dump. So an intrusion detection system is a sniffer like TCP dump or the Wireshark, but with specialized filters that attempt to identify malicious activity. So a good intrusion detection system can find anything from a buffer overflow attack against a SSH server to the transmission of the files, the password files over the FTP. If any such activities it is present in the network traffic, that idea is going to warn you about the suspicious activity or the traffic is moving. The IDS exams packets looking for a particular signature. As I said, it is looking for a pattern. It is mainly looking for the pattern and the signature, similar to your antivirus software. Even antivirus software also looks for the signature or the patterns. So similarly, Snot Tool also, the IDS detection tool also looks for signature or the patterns that are associated with the suspicious or prohibited. That's why every 15 days to 1 month you need to be keep updated your Snot Tool. So this updation involves the new virus signatures, new suspicious activity signature is going to be added to that Snot Tool. Then it will perform at the optimal level. Otherwise, it is just obsolete software to run and see the monitoring of your network traffic. The IDS then reports on all traffic that matches those signature. Snart is a robust IDS that runs on Unix-based and Windows systems. It is free and open source. It works on both the scenario. As it is, you can see intrusion detection system for Windows with the Snart. You just watch this video, you will understand how it is that is going to be implemented in the Windows system. Similarly, Snort in Linux system. There are so many material, plenty of material. Depending on your interest of exploring of the tool, you can learn it. And Snart also, as it is working on a particular signature or pattern, and Snart also needs to be defined by the administrator. It follows some certain rules. It's not having the following rules, that is alert rules, pass rules, log rules, activate rules, and dynamic rules. These are the five rules which exist with the SNART rules. As a savvy administrator or the expert who is going to write a rule for the SNART tool needs to be configured under the snart.config. So, which are the alert rules? When the alert is going to triggered, these are the situation the alert is going to be triggered. For example, log packets whose characteristics match a predefined suspicious pattern. So predefined suspicious pattern which is already loaded into the Snart tool. If such kind of similar packets are passing through, if Snart is going to scan and monitor that network, if it matches with the existing signature based database with the Snart, then it is going to trigger the alert or warn the user. That is, for example, generated by a common hacking tool or contain a strong indicative of a buffer overflow or web attack. If any such kind of attacks, it is going to be alert. So, custom rules that monitor packets you determine to be prohibited or undesirable on your network. For example, file sharing, gaming, etc. Before allowing you to share the files from your system to the outside the network, it alerts you. Really, do you need to be connected with the external network? It will ask, right? So that's why be careful, especially while writing the rules for the firewalls as well as snots. The second snot rule is pass rules. Pass rules. Pass rules explicitly ignore the packets. Pass rules explicitly ignore the packets. Traffic that matches these rules will not be logged. So simply ignoring the packets, and if that traffic matches these rules, pass rules will not be logged. So any password related information is passing through means the such kind of the things, it is not going to be recorded. It is simply allowed to pass to the traffic. So the log rules is need to be defined in such a way that record packets but do not generate rules. So packet recording is going on, but it is not going to record the rules. This would be useful for diagnosing network problems, storing traffic for audits, or monitoring sensitive systems so that traffic can be analyzed in case a compromise is detected. If any compromise happens, because we don't know the 360 24 into 7 by 365 days network is up and running, you need to be, when the monitoring tool is in place, so to detect any hacking happen, so currently the current scenario is 90 days is required to detect a single hack has happened from the organization. I'm not telling from my words. It is a reports are there. So many reports, IBM reports also there, data guardian reports also there. They are reporting that minimum 90 days is required to solve a single issue which is raised as an attack. Means almost 3 months they are spending to detect a single malicious activities happen, even though security implementation in place, because the billions of records are generating, billions of hits, millions of people are hitting the websites. So huge log file is there. To analyze that file, it needs a lot of time, even from the tools also. So activate rules, generate an alert for traffic that matches this rules triggers. Then activate a subsequent dynamic rule. So activate rule alerts the alarm to the user based on the traffic that matches with the rules trigger. In turn, that activate rules in turn triggers the dynamic rule. So what is the dynamic rule? The dynamic rule triggered by activate rules. This enables you to chain rules together in a way that makes inspection more efficient. Means continuously monitoring. Suppose if one person, let us take example of our college security system. So college security system, the personals are standing. One person is at the main gate, another person is nearer to the main gate, another person is the nearer to the parking place, another person to the banking area, another person to the entry of the one building, second building, like that. So these are the chain of the security is maintained. See, since if any person, suspicious person, if he enters into the main gate, if there is a, so he has able to produce the sufficient ID. If he passes, if he can enter into the main gate. In the second system, that person is going to again ask. So keep on asking whether he is suspicious. If not, simply they ignore, and that traffic is passed. Similarly, dynamic rules in such a way that chain of rules are together to inspect the packet whether it is suspicious. If it is suspicious, immediately stop entering into, penetrating into the system or the network. So these are the great mechanism for gathering more information during an attack. These are the 5 different rules which is applicable for the SNOT rules. SNOT rules mainly maintain to check with it is suspicious activity or not. Okay. With this, we are coming the end of the SNOT discussion. That is packet filters, firewalls, SNOTs, virtual private network, then Windows firewall, Linux firewall, and SNOT. So in the next class, that is probably that will be the last class for your current semester. That is. blockchain technology, its definition, applications, and implementation parts. So we are going to discuss more on that topic. With that, we are going to complete the current semester all the modules. If any doubts are there, you can connect with us even in the Zoom meeting or either WhatsApp or the mail communication if for any doubts. If any questions are there, you can ask us. Any questions are there for the current session? So if time permits, I am going to give some demonstration as one of your friend has expected me to give the demonstration for Linux firewall. So I am installing that tool. So once it is ready, definitely I'll give the demonstration on Linux uh, firewall. Then some of the Wireshark or the Snot tool using bypassing firewall through an nmap commands, etc. Okay, so don't use those tools for your benefit. It is just for knowledge sake I'm sharing. If you do some um, illegal activities, you are the responsible for that. Any questions?